NFL. Why do I always say the NFL is so dominant? Well, I got down last night and laid in bed. I'm sitting there watching the ESPN, right? It comes on. You got the NBA playoffs going on. You got the NHL playoffs going on. And what did they lead with? The NFL and who they're going to be playing. What does it look like? What's the schedule look like?
Yeah.
Everybody's running around like their hair's on fire. Well, it's interesting because there's a lot of different things about it. And, you know, it did grab my interest. Obviously, I like football a lot. But I like the fact that the very first game of the year is a game where it kicks off with Philadelphia hosting the Dallas Cowboys, two that are going after each other in a big way. The Cowboys did a lot in the offseason. I think Philadelphia lost a few in the offseason as well. So might make for a pretty interesting game, actually. Then the New York Giants. I know you're a Jets guy. But the New York Giants, they get the award of having the very toughest schedule that's out there this year. San Francisco gets what's considered to be the easiest schedule that's out there. Monday Night Football kicks off with the Vikings at Chicago. That's going to be a barn burner. That should be pretty freaking phenomenal. So there's a lot of things going on. And then there's the other side of it, and I know you know where I'm going. Global. The NFL has been going global, and they've been doing it for a long time. Hell, it goes all the way back to the days where I played in something that was called, the World League of American Football. It got bought by Europe NFL, and they had an NFL just in Europe is what they ended up doing. So they moved all the teams that were at different places, Sacramento, Montreal, Orlando. They all went over into Europe. Well, they're going over into Europe and everywhere else in the entire world now, and they are bringing the world NFL football, and people are loving it. Someday there will be a team in London. I think that's going to be their very first spot. But right now they've got Sao Paulo, Dublin, London, Berlin, and Madrid. And the Minnesota Vikings have a road game playing at Dublin and then playing at London the following Sunday before they come home. That's going to be a fun trip with a heck of a lot of Minnesotans that are going to be coming down into Dublin. And I hope they don't embarrass us all as U.S. people or whatever. Then they're going to go to London, and then they'll come back, and they'll be right at U.S. Bank Stadium the following week.
Yeah, what's interesting to me, Pete, I mean, number one, of course, how much the international schedule stood out for me, as it did for many fans. But this is really confidence reaffirmation of the league's absolute commitment to making this a global sport. And the choice of those cities, it ain't an accident. Dublin, London, Sao Paulo, Berlin. What are those cities famous for? Those are big-time football, although soccer, as we call it, right? Those are cities with rabid fan bases for soccer that the NFL thinks will translate well to football. I tend to agree. I'm going to keep an eye on how things go with those games in Brazil, though, because, of course, that was one of the controversial venues last year with players being concerned about things like safety and so on and so forth. But, yeah, that was what jumped off the page at me, Pete, was the international schedule.
And lastly, we're going to hit with a little bit of college football. And you noticed I didn't go to the NBA or the NHL. Well, there's a reason for that. The college football even trumps that whole thing. So anyway, 2026 recruiting was delivered, and now they have ratings out on that. And so that was another one of the things that not only did I read about it, but I saw it on television as well. So here's the schools: USC, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Penn State, Clemson, Texas A&M. What do they all have in common? They have some of the biggest NIL schools that exists in college, right? I mean, it's Texas A&M just takes money and just goes, what do you need? You need another running back? I can get this kid for $300,000. What do you think? Oh, maybe $1 million. Okay, well, what the hell? I mean, that's really what it's come down to. And it's kind of crazy. The big get bigger, the rich get richer, and it's absolutely amazing because you're putting people in 100,000 seat stadiums. Most of these, by the way, LSU is somewhere should have been on the list as well. But big stadiums, they bring in big money, but they got big donors. And the NIL, that's what it's all about, man. That's how you get those players. What I don't like about it is you leave a lot of other schools out without any way of competing, especially financial. I mean, how do I compete if I'm at the University of Iowa with Texas A&M, right? I mean, we don't have the same kind of donors. We have a big stadium, though, so that part's good. But, you know, it's just a different world, and it's making college football. I don't like what's happening, and I think they've got to cap this whole thing off at some point.
It seems to be impacting the purity of the sport, right? It's not just about attracting these star athletes because of academic programs and things of that nature. It's all about the dollars. Ultimately, that's going to result in even further consolidation of
Yeah.
power to recruit in the hands of a very small number of teams, as you outlined with the
Yeah.
recruiting ratings that are the headline of the story, which I think ultimately is going to make it less exciting to watch, right? It's part of the reason why F1 is expanding the number of teams. We don't just want to see McLaren or the Red Bull team win every single time that they race. It's not exciting anymore. So I
Right.
think it's something to be concerned about when it comes to the college football, no doubt.
Yep. So we hit them with two football stories. So next week I'll do a better job. I'll try to spread it out to the others. Actually, by then the NBA will have a lot better understanding of where they are. The NHL will know where they are, and when it gets finally to the very pinnacle, then they're almost to the bottom of where football starts.